Welcome back to my lovely IHP community and the 5D collective, and all of those who love to put into practice mindfulness and spirituality. Now, spirituality is that life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self. Mindfulness practices help you to learn to consistently regulate your emotions, which people who are not therapists want to tell you to stop regulating and to stop trying to regulate your emotions. Apparently, they don't want you to be empowered with your thoughts and emotions. So let the insecurely attached, non-self-regulating human beings go about their business following the fancy women and men in suits who allow themselves to think that you embodying your optimized human being version is so basically they do shame, blame, fault, revenge. They're reactive in their survival mode. They don't know what they're talking about, but we allow them to keep that space for anyone who's going to deny themselves the opportunity to move into their heaven in the body. Okay, so do learn to regulate your emotions. I learned with my panic attacks, it's really great, but also what I learned is that my thoughts and emotions are not irrefutable facts, and that my 1-year-old is an attached panicky, that my 3 to 7 is shame submissive, and my child parts do live here. And freezes of all ages, that's when so that might be why we have some of us panic attacks. It can also involve our expansion of the light body. As you know, I'm a 5D mystic, and 5D because Christ consciousness and the frequency of our lovely planet, and it's all about love. All you need is love. Dee 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 dee. All you need is love, love. And the best way that you get to learn to regulate, it's love. Not because you need someone, no, you need air, water, and food. So the empowered human beings, unlike this woman who apparently ding ding every time she fucks someone, I think, yeah, she told women, don't think of it, marriage, wedding bells. Wow, really, you thought about that? I never thought about it because my men friends made sure I'd know. I trusted my men friends. They have been spot on, I have to say. And when you meet a real man, though, obviously that's when those men friends, I like to tell them, are you really sure? You don't fit that bill, do you? Ah, you do. Okay, so you know what? I'm good. That's good to know. So what I'm trying to get to is, thank goodness we're in the year 2024. Not all my men friends are actually those types of men. But I did take at the time, long time ago, I did take my men friends' advice. No, I just heard them. I said, okay, that's good to know. It's a data point. I'll find out if it's a real man or if it's a coward. And if it's a coward, well, you know what another man told me, and I'm guessing that man felt the same shit as he did whatever his not manly things do, which is contempt, disgust towards women. And he, in fact, has unresolved trauma of his own, which is why anytime he's spitting out mouth, I'm like, whoa, that sounds scary. You have a God that's really scary, and so was something going on. So, anyways, when you meet unempowered human beings, they're men and women in suits, and they inform you of how to continue gender stereotypes all over the place. And the women that laugh with them, and the men, I'm just going to leave it alone because, again, shame, blame, fault, revenge, it is healable, but only if you get into the door with a good therapist and decide to. Well, the cognitive neuroscience of religious experience. This one's a really good one. A side note, Patrick McNamara, what was it? Decentralization and the self. He's really great at explaining what happens when you expand your consciousness and how our ancestors did it. And anybody who's smart, religion, spirituality, sciences, it all comes together because neuroscience proves what I got taught in catechism, that my brothers and sisters are all angels. And that the fallen angel isn't a monster or Lucifer. No, it's called a person and more who has, in Michael Stone forensic criminologist scale, the fancy woman and man in suit, they're both in that. So they're maintaining the shame, blame, fault, revenge, and hell in the body, a void, emptiness, not learning how to self-regulate. In fact, again, stop trying to regulate your emotions. This is really bad, not good at all for a person who wants to be non-reactive and empowered. So mindfully living, again, is where we love to love and love to dance and love to live and love to laugh. I love to love, and my baby, he loves to dance. Hey, Eric, I got a tail. What's up? You like my tail? Are we real? Are you real? Yeah, okay. And in time, you'll notice that Eric is telling the truth, or that Eric goes back and forth. What happens when we're flip-flopping? Well, we got fancy women and man in suit who give them the opportunity, and they don't read neuroscience, Patrick McNamara. They also don't read Determined, A Science of Life Without Free Will. Thank you, Robert Sapolsky. They also don't know about restorative embodiment and resilience, Alan Fogel, PhD. So These human beings are uninformed about a bunch of things, and they got millions, not just, millions, millions of, hey, Pinocchio, how's that island? Great, have fun while you become donkeys. We're good. There's no Lucifer there, but, I'm sure you're going to keep on watching from the far, far, far away from us. So have a great time over there. Let's see, You Matter More Than You Think. This one's also a good book for you all. This one is Quantum Social Change for a Thriving World, and Karen O'Brien. Thank you so much. There's a lot of great material out there. So smart people. We're stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. We love learning to regulate our emotional, plane, and mental and physical. So come on board if that's where you're at. That's our 5D frequency. We also unconditionally love with flaws and imperfections all people. Oh, and we get to be ourselves, for real, not pretend. So integrity means that if you think I'm a piece of shit, thank you so much for your time. I think I might want to go, right? Because you don't like my type of personality. I'm polyamory. I'm a mystic. You must have some issue with me. It's okay. I respect that. Totally. Totally. We don't need to review your lack of vocabulary as you insult me in my face, in my ear, whatever. You're not really insulting me. I find it humorous that stupid people don't know how to use their words. No, I don't. Stupid people. They're not stupid. We can all be stupid, but the lack of intelligence is pretty clear. Because anyone who's in shame, blame, fault, revenge has low self-esteem. They're indirect communicators. They're not passive-aggressive to me. To me, at 44, I just laugh. As long as you're not a physical threat, I'm like, hey, well, it wasn't about decency. The reason I didn't talk to you for 3 years, I really just you're not on my radar. You were not on my radar. And now that you've done everything, you're still not on my radar, except for I know you pity party yourself. And you could do their terrible. So my regular viewers and listeners, they know these stories. Okay, so back to us. FYI, when the YouTube membership content is out, you're going to get practices for mindfulness. But right now you're seeing what it's like to be an empowered human being who's polyamory with polywise and polysecure. We're not masochists. No, some of us have healthy self-worth. And to this, a person who doesn't has said, but that's hard. And that's the minute that as a grown woman who's being told by man that it's hard to have healthy self-worth, I have learned if you can't say something nice, shh, say nothing. Take a bit of good advice. And I'm thinking, no, I don't think. See, I'm a feminine. Snap and done. Well, you did tell me that you're happy with the life you chose, right? You had your parents help you to choose your career. Yes, this is exactly what I told to this man. Yeah, I said, yeah, you're good. And then we just kept talking to ignore that which he's most likely not aware of, his low self-esteem, like am I not decent enough? Because people don't seem to want to become aware that they could use a childhood trauma therapist to get out of their Cusco attitude and feel way better about what Ron Siegel, emotions can deepen our experience of life because life is much more poignantly alive if we allow emotions to flourish, not the way the woman in the fancy suit is doing it. Since she doesn't know that non-reactivity is your health completely and enlightenment, let me explain. Non-reactivity is because you know how to regulate your nervous system in your ventral vagal state. There is a difference. I remember when I started to get out of my limbic system because the oceans and the waves, Tara Brock, she got a great video on YouTube. It's for free. And as she points out, when you're in your limbic system, that's how you're going to feel. So if you are weighed down by emotions and if they're charged, that is not you knowing how to regulate your nervous system. So the lady is perpetuating unhealthy self-soothing mechanism. You're not even soothing, and you're going to be in distress versus eustress. So again, she's ignorant on information completely. And she doesn't give a shit, by the way. She brutally dissected the good therapy people. And she thinks the system's trying to keep you in prison. Sounds like a 3-year-old to me. Cusco, is that projection that you want to do? I want to yell, that bitch, she looked at me weird. That's my emotion. So people think that's emotion, which that is, but it's your 3-year-old emotion with a broken heart and a 1-year-old who's like, I want you, I need you. So this is exactly why she has no fucking idea what's going on, but we're going to leave her alone because there's people who don't want to be non-reactive. Oh, I've seen them. Yes, I've seen them out there. It's hilarious. No, it's not. But hey, they think they're great. So, let me explain. Trauma. This is from Ashley Vigil Otero, PhD. Means having had to submit to someone or something overwhelming, and that feeling of having to submit is a humiliating feeling. It's a feeling of powerlessness. So I'm going to get serious for a minute. This woman, like the man and anybody else who's against the good therapists, yes, they have this. They bottle it all up. And that's exactly why they're the bird that Peter Levine describes to me with a broken wing. And the minute you say, offer you unconditional love and kindness, they're going to head on over to that cat, because those first 3 years of life and everything that comes out of their mouth is a bunch of shit for a smart human being who can hear, because they're talking against a bunch of people who are smart. It's not because I wanted to bring this on. No, they are actively having me notice all the stupidity that they're saying. And I'm like, okay, I want people, hey, Robert Sapolsky, determined. I want people to have free will. So your free will is you have good therapists. You can add then mindset, mindfulness, and continue doing. And mindset, and just hear about a fun story of an inner child adult who does know introspection. And I'm a mystic too, so that's even more fun. So 5D and beyond, again, no bypasser here, because I'm not else on her journey. My name's Maria. I have a 3-year-old. She's whole, and you can not like my tail, Eric. Bye, there's a door. I ain't waiting for you and wedding bells. I actually don't plan on having any type of marriage, because sacredness is what a bond would be, and that would require you to know how to love yourself first and actually know how to bring to me sunshine and roses. And always, oh, I don't want the sunshine, my only. That's a sad song. I found out what it meant. Yeah, no, nobody needs that crap. I enjoy life, and I know one day I'm going to go. So 24 hours, I choose what I want. I want to dance, and I want to love, and I want to laugh. And that's because when you're a healthy human being, unlike that Zen master who doesn't know how to regulate his nervous system, we could say it's in my DNA. God, it could be my DNA. Thank you, God. I have a twin and a mother. So I'm going to say it's my twin, actually, because I was never once I was never alone. I don't know aloneness. Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? No, I don't. And I'm not joking with y'all. If I have to use determined, I can tell you why. By not being alone, not even 1 second of my entire existence as a little fetus thingy, and then, because implicit memory, you begin building up the 7 months, although I was born by then. But long story short, the evolutionary psychologist made me aware of why that 1-year-old wants to securely attach. Because if we're out with the lions and the bears, yeah, women, you and the bears, come on, you're going to freak out. And that's because in our ancestors' time, we would physically die, which is why monsters do exist, but they were called animals and darkness and no light and a lot of things. It's kind of like, what was that show on YouTube where they would ask kids, like, have you ever heard the internet before? At the beginning. Okay, so I think people like the man and fancy woman in suit and anybody who's talking about shit without knowing where we come from, pretty much. They're hilarious, but they're there for the pseudo-life human beings who want to be able and have these boxing gloves on. I'm here for the ones who want to show yourself as your human name, please. Thank you very much. Come on over. So for many people, they don't learn from doing something wrong. What they learn is not to acknowledge that they did something wrong. Stephen Porges, PhD. Now that is why your first 3 years of life matter, and why mindfulness practices support people with integration and have been supporting as we keep moving forward in schools, parents, a lot of things, as well as knowing about secure attachment. 1/3 of attuning and repairing ruptures. So we have the best team of people out there, and then those who are the younger generation, and then I'm a little bit of the older generation, but luckily I'm like that person who can say, hey, to the younger generation, great job, and hey, older generation, look at the younger, and let's get together. Yeah. So we're going to lead as an example, because that's what you do when you're a grown-up. That's what I expected to see. And I expect today that I will be a grown-up who shows the way, like Jesus taught me, unconditional love. And I will spot shame, blame, fault, revenge. My crew, come on over. There they are. Leave them alone. Come on. Let the unhealthy self-soothing. They're playing Tom and Jerry. Don't you see they like that island? Go watch Pinocchio. Go watch how many times Pinocchio falls for that shit. Hey, Robert Sapolsky, what's up with determined? They have no free will, right? Okay, legal system. How are you going to take care of insecurely attached people and those fancy men and women in suits who are actually not telling them to go get good therapy? They're not going to be any good for anyone if they don't know how to regulate their nervous system, and they keep on projecting their shit all over the place. You get the drift. So some of us were going to say, hey, let's go. And the ones who want to come, they're going to come. And the ones who don't, they're going to follow the other ones. And the good thing is that as long as they follow the law, they can set up their little homes and their little areas. We already got people not taking kids to hospitals So again, any human being who wants to stay in the past, they know where to go. That way they can have their survival mode on and keep on not learning how to self-regulate and to really do the depth of their emotional plane. Oh, and become their true self. Yeah, that's the other unfortunate business. Your true self was paused if you got a 1-year-old and 3-year-old. It's shame, but hey, again, you don't need to take my word for it. There's smart people out there who I learned from them and I still learn from them. It's one thing to fail. It's another to be told that you are the reason you're now being rejected because you are failing. That really messes with your brain. George Fowler, MS, LMFT. So again, projection is straightforward. When I, as a person, have met it, yes, I learned how to handle Cusco's pretty much my entire life because I didn't want to be unkind. Because I got told by God, hey, Maria, remember, treat others the way you want to be treated. And Jesus told me to forgive. And in my very straightforward, literate way of understanding it is like, if I close my heart, then I don't love. If I treat you unkindly, how dare I even ask you to treat me kindly? And if I lie about it, I'll know I lied. And that's not really what I want, because then I'm bullshitting myself. And I think kindness is a good choice. Oh, it's okay if you think I'm a bitch, because I also know it's not provable, because the people that like to point out you can't prove your intent. Yeah, I know that. Hey, what's up? Oh, it's not provable. Integrity, I don't give a shit. Oh, Eric, you don't like my tail. That's awesome. Yeah, I got a door right there. I don't know what you want. So again, when you have an inner child adult your entire life and you meet people with low self-esteem, the one thing I still have to learn to do, I can't stand them. God knows, but I leave it alone because it's not their fault that their first 3 years of life they got fear-mongered and some shit happened and they decide to not notice they got some fucking mustard on their chin. There's a bounty full of people that project their insecurities, and it is frustrating, but not enough to make me project. Oh, and I don't speak up because I'm not a codependent human being. The martyrs, superiors, and blamers, they like to tell each other what to do. I like to mind my own business because I've been told, it's your life, go. It's your life, go. Hey, not go. Okay, I raise my hands. I leave it alone, and that's because the whole existence is vibration, and so is your thought. If you generate a powerful thought and let it out, it will manifest itself. So you use your thoughts and your emotions for yourself, and then watch. Watch as all that you will have wished for comes true. People who don't go to therapy, well, they have a whole bunch of ways that they keep themselves busy. Here's one of them. If you have been put through unpleasant situations in life, you should not put it out on anyone else, right? He says you should be sensible, but this is where it's it's really unfair. I'm going to say you can't be sensible. What you want to understand is if you, Zen Master, have laundry, you have laundry. Some of us know how to mindfully work through emotions because we have healthy, self-soothing mindset mechanisms, because it's called, wow, I don't have to be in my temporal junction and whine about something because I'm frustrated. I can learn how to not be frustrated because I don't need to have the charge. And then I can have a dialogue about it, because that's what happens when you're non-reactive in equanimity. And it gets fun. That's why when I fit back into my skin, I was like, ooh, I think I'm completely back into that restorative embodiment stuff that they were talking about. Oh, look, I can regulate. So my moment of truth was when I was regulating in front of a caring connection as this person, from one word, we were laughing, having a great time, they say something, I respond, and now I've got some human being, and this is basically the abandonment, fear, rejection. So I have a red, is what Stephen Porges would call it, because he's out. And I had so much practice for my panic attacks that I knew all this shit that was coming up like a big wave. But see, again, I'm in my prefrontal, not my limbic system, because you learn when you have introspection and you then have smart people describe to you what it's like. Yeah, so I know exactly when it's alert, alert. Okay, we don't need to be an alert. Bring it down, bring it down. And now I just know how to always bring it down. And so as I am, okay, you're not going to be pressed down because that's not what you want to do, because it's going to come back up. But I need you to wait a minute, so recalibrate body. And then I'm interacting with the human being in front of me. And I'm like, okay, you're all going to, everything that just came up is going to have to get out at some point, but it doesn't need to be here. That's called self-regulation, people. It's really easy, by the way, but it's because you want to do it. Do I like my panic attacks? No, I don't. But I can now actually know, thank you for making me so experienced, and being able to describe to y'all why it's so much fun to have thought, and emotion, which are not separate entities, and the way you think is the way you feel. And that's why an inner child adult, I love to love, and my baby, he loves to dance, and he loves to laugh, and he loves to live, and he loves to read, and he loves all types of people. And when we meet fancy woman and man in suit, we'll just say, it's a pleasure to meet you. Okay, stay serious. Don't think. Shh. Be quiet. Be quiet. That way they don't know anything about what's going on inside. Oh, I'm so having fun. Krishna Lila, come on in. Hey, Shiva, what's up? Hey, Kali. Hey, God, what up? Jesus, come on in the door. I don't know anybody else, but you name it. All of y'all. Archangels. Oh, hey, so what's up? The beauty of this is I actually know that those human beings, they don't know shit about what's going on in my body, because if they did, they would know how to regulate their own nervous system, and they don't, which means they haven't connected all those emotions. And so on a serious note, it is serious to get good therapy, and then it is serious if you want to continue to expand the depths of your emotional plane. That part is why it's a bonus. You really don't have to. But being yourself, it's when you claim, see, soothe, safe, secure, all of you. And a lot of people are finally getting on a roll with knowing that therapy is a good thing. Good therapist, EMDR, child parts work, somatics, and or sensory motor. They don't lock you up in boxes. They don't tell you that narcissists are not healable or that sociopaths are not healed. No. There's Dr. Daniel Fox, personality disorder expert. So any human being out there who's telling you that people are not healable, they don't have the information that I've learned from. They're also not a 5D mystic. They're definitely in the 3D, 4D state of consciousness and frequency. That's why they do shame, blame, fault, revenge. And they're, hey, Pinocchio, have fun. No, we all hang out. When I'm around Cuscas, I got a good time just as much as when I'm with the Pacha, because I don't have a sensitive ego. It's called... Eric, I thought you said you liked my tail, but I see that you don't. So I'm going to make my way out of there. I'll be around when you're in a good mood. How does that sound? Great. See you later, alligator. Crocodile, that song. So we're going to be back with a little bit of a reading. In the meantime, anybody who is curious to stay up to date with stories and then for mindfulness and mindset practices to come on over back, subscribe. When the paid membership subscription-based content is out, you'll find out what tiers will be available, and for one-to-one mentorship, that's with objectives if you want, because obviously there are some people who have some goals that they want to achieve, others not. Oh, and the masterclass is in the making. I'm still considering how I want to evaluate it and organize it, and the spiritual retreat is for the future. And for my mystics, there's some really amazing ascension energies about the nice thing about being a 5D human love. And that's a wrap, so see you again some other time. No, in a little bit if you come back.